The news of the weekend, Hillary Clinton announcing for president. Over the past week, you've been really critical of her when it comes to the issue of trust, talking about Benghazi, talking about the donations to the Clinton Foundation. How far back do you think is fair game? Do you think Monica? Do you think Whitewater? Do you think the travel office issues? I mean, what should be in the realm of the public debate now?
You know, I'm not sure that I'll get to decide what's in the realm or not, but I do think that there is sort of a history of the Clintons sort of feeling like they're above the law. They said they weren't going to take donations, you know, for the Clinton Foundation during the period of time she was Secretary of State, and there are questions whether they did. Since then, there are questions of them taking millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia, from the Sultan of Brunei, countries that really have an abysmal human rights record and women's rights record. And so I think it questions the sincerity of whether or not she would be a champion for women's rights when she accepts money from a country like Brunei that stones to death people for adultery, and realize that this is men accusing women of adultery, not women accusing men, because the men have the only say in the legal system in Brunei. So it does really, it makes it difficult for her message to appear sincere when she's taking money from these foreign countries.
You say that you don't get to decide, but you do get to choose where you criticize her and where you don't.
Right.
How far back do you think is fair game?
I think that her public policy and public life, you know, will be fair game.
Some of your critics on the Republican side.
I don't have any critics, do I?
I know. Shocking. You do have critics on both sides, as you know. But some of your Republican critics argue that you are actually to the left of Hillary Clinton on foreign policy, that she's more hawkish than you are.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing about this, you know, who's aligned with President Obama, whose foreign policy is closest to President Obama. Interestingly, many of the hawks in my party line right up with President Obama. Think about the big issues we've had in the last couple years. The war that Hillary prominently promoted in Libya, many of the hawks in my party were right there with her. Their only difference was in degrees. They wanted to go into Libya as well. They just always want boots on the ground. Some of the hawks in my party, you can't find a place on the globe they don't want boots on the ground.
But that's their point, that you're to the left of all them.
No, my point is that they are actually agreeing with Hillary Clinton and agreeing with President Obama that the war in Libya was a good idea. I'm not agreeing with either one of them. They're over here both for war. I'm over here saying that war made us less safe, that it made radical Islam or allowed radical Islam to rise up in Libya. There are now large segments of Libya that are pledging allegiance to ISIS, supplying arms to the Islamic rebels in the Syrian civil war. President Obama supported this, Hillary Clinton supported this, and so did the hawks in my party. Only they differed only on degrees. I didn't support the arming of the Syrian rebels because I felt like it would make al-Qaeda and ISIS worse. I didn't support the bombing of Assad. President Obama supported the bombing of Assad. So did the neocons in my party. So really, they're together in supporting many of these interventions, and I've been the one not supporting these interventions because I feared if you bombed Assad, you would allow ISIS to go stronger. There are 2 million Christians in Syria, and you know what? If you ask them who they would choose, they'd all choose Assad over ISIS because they see the barbarity of perhaps both, but they see the utter depravity and barbarity of ISIS. And so bombing Assad probably isn't a good policy. These are great foreign policy questions. They'll be great debates, and I look forward to having them.